Call this meeting to order. The vision of the Village of Valemount is striving for a vibrant and balanced community. So welcome everybody. We're going to strive for a vibrant and balanced community tonight, and our mission is to serve the community and embrace opportunity. The first is, let's adopt the agenda. Any additions or changes? No. No, okay. Motion to, done. All right, all in favor? I mean, they've all motioned it. We're rocking here. Previous minutes. How about those minutes? Those are good ones? All right. There we go. All in favor? No delegations, no unfinished business, correspondence for action. We got something from Tourism Valemount. And they're asking that Mayor and Council support Tourism Valemount and VCTV's new partnership for a tourism-themed television program called Discover Valemount.
I think that's a great idea.
I don't see how we can support this. If everybody discovers Valemount, what will be left for us? But I leave it to Council.
I think it's a great idea. Yeah.
So are you motioning?
Yes, I'll make a motion that we support them in this Discover Valemount project.
I'll second that.
Excellent. All in favor? Oh, surprise! Unanimous tonight. All right. Here we go. Reading file. We got a couple pieces. One from Northern Health. It gives a list of all the Imagine Grant recipients and Kathy McLeod's Economic Action Plan, which has a list of a number of, there's actually kind of a number of cool things in there. Which, anything that you guys wanted to tease up? I would just say as a matter of course, it would be really great for our people to look into the programs that are offered here, because it was fantastic.
I think we had applied on an Imagine grant. I don't remember what for.
Okay.
I think so.
But the ones listed, the new ones from Kathy McLeod, there's actually some really progressive ones. Mm-hmm. That came out wrong. There are some great grants.
Yes.
From the Economic Action Plan.
Grants were awarded to some great projects.
Oh, these are past tense? 7.2? I don't think so. Okay, at any rate. Moving along. Receive the reading file? All in favor? Oh, wow. Total consensus. And we've got a report from the administrator, 8.1, page 23. You guys haven't got the full agenda there. We'll get the administrator to give us a brief recruitment update. Or it doesn't need to be brief. Be as long as you want. Are you prepared to say something about this, or can I just welcome the people that...
Absolutely, you can welcome away.
Okay, well give me a second. I got to pull up my list here and make sure, because there's some folks. It's too bad we haven't got the thing up on the screen, but the first, there's a number of, we've been through a recruitment phase because we've had some staff turnover. We've had Vic Laboucaine is just retired, and filling his position is Trevor Pelche, who's been a part of Public Works for a long time. And we are so pleased. I am so pleased. I think as a corporation, we should be so pleased to be able to hire somebody from within. Somebody who took us, if you guys remember in the spring, Trevor was instrumental in getting us through the Swift Creek emergency and commandeered all the resources that were needed and got it done. We got the paperwork done afterwards, which is the way to do it. So welcome to Trevor. And it's so great to be developing local talent. The other piece is we're hiring, the Northern Development Initiative Trust has seen a weakness in municipalities. It's that municipalities aren't always getting that second growth. You get a bunch of people who are really have tons of experience, and then they leave a municipality, and they kind of leave municipalities in a lurch, and they're not always bringing people up, the young saplings. And so Northern Development Initiative Trust is funding 3/4 of a position because it's so important, and so important to get people working in local government as young adults or young people. And we have hired under that program on a sharing basis with McBride, which is amazing. We're sharing this thing, not just the hospital anymore. A young graduate named Katie Fabris, who's graduating in graduated in May 2013 with a Plenty degree. So that is just the kind of talent we need to add. And thanks to the NDIT for making that happen for us. there was a recent grant application to CBT for a youth initiative, and as a part of that, we hired the village is sort of a sponsor, and so the village has, as part of the obligations of administering the program and being a friend of the program, we recruited for the position, and we are so pleased that we have hired Dorothy Flower. I don't know if any of you have ever met her. I suggest you meet her. She's a wonderful person. And she has a tremendous amount of experience, and she's with us today. Yeah, excellent. Also, each summer we hire a Water Smart ambassador and as well as part-time seasonal full-time employee to help keep the gardens in shape. And we are so pleased to welcome Amelia Cinnamon to our staff this summer. So that'll be great to see her there. She'll have obligations in Water Smart and helping us use less water, i.e. spend less money, as well as keep up the grounds. And finally, I think the most exciting and probably shocking to everyone is that we managed to fill our building inspection role with somebody. They always say the building inspector is like somebody who can't do building. They're not very good. Well, if this guy can't make a living doing building, nobody can. So Dean Schneider is our new building inspector. Hey, like this is, yeah. Anyway, apparently nobody can make a living building. No. Of course, we've got the best in the business. I think people are going to be really excited to work with Dean. Somebody who's done it and have been on the other side up until 3 days ago. They're going to be able to find a real friend. Okay, moving along. Sorry, that was way longer than it needed to be. You could have just read it out. It would have been shorter.
True, but can we accept this report?
Yes, I make a motion that we accept the,
I'll second that.
All in favor?
yeah.
Done. Okay, and then moving along, the next report that we've got up here is no building inspector report. What's going on? Okay, he's had like 24 hours. Okay, so we'll move to the financial. Let's try to finish this agenda before Dallas gets seated. The financial report. We've got a report from the finance officer that is just giving us, explaining what's happened with the Valemount Curling Club and how they got onto the tax roll, why they weren't there before, and generally about that. Who on staff can speak to that best?
I can.
Okay.
I think you're fairly familiar as well, but
You have to speak up really loud. Do you want to stand up?
the Valemount Curling Club is going to be taxed for the first time this year. And the reason for that is because they weren't in the provincial assessment rolls, and so we had no basis on which to tax them.
They were kind of an unknown. They weren't in the system. The property was forgot, and it was just, so they were living the blessed life, really.
That's correct. When in 2010 we renewed an outstanding lease, had the building surveyed, and which triggered an assessment, which made it then taxable. At that point, we had exempted them from paying taxes, but any tax exemption needs to be done through bylaw. So we actually had a situation that wasn't tenable. So in 2012, we've taken them off that tax exempt bylaw, making them taxable for this year. We've worked with the curling club to try to assist them with resources such as grants. We suggested they appeal their taxation category because they're categorized as a business rather than recreational. Recreational categories are for primarily outdoor things like golf clubhouses and softball fields and so on. So an appeal may not have helped, but they had that option. They've unfortunately have not utilized the services of the grant writer or applied for any grants to assist with this. We've suggested that they are eligible to write to council next fall to request a tax exemption, but that's not a guarantee that they would get one, because typically that's granted to churches. And Lori actually met with the board of the Curling Club to explain all this to them, to try to help people understand what's going on, that they aren't being penalized or so on unfairly.
Right. There you go. The sad and true tale of where that's at. This report is for information. I guess it sort of clears the air for us, because we've had this sort of non-standard procedure. Things were out of compliance, and then sometimes, unfortunately, you kind of don't want them to, but you get them there, and then you've got to deal with it. You got to deal fair and square, right, with everybody, and that's unfortunate, because this puts an additional burden on the curling club, who is struggling. But hopefully, if we can join forces, we can they can weather through it.
Have they had any luck finding grants?
They, to the best of my knowledge, they haven't applied on any of the ones that we've sent to them. They haven't used the grant writer, and they have told us they haven't applied on any. So,
Right.
So I'll make a motion to accept the report from the curling club, or regarding the curling club, for information only.
Okay.
Second.
Great. Okay, moving along. So we're now on section 14, bylaws and policies. Tonight we are at fourth and final reading of our 5-year financial bylaw 691. No surprises there. Same thing we reviewed as it stands, but we leave it to council, your good judgment. What is your wish?
I'll make a motion to accept the fourth and final reading of the 5-year financial plan.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay. And all in favor? Okay. If you guys want to break into these things, just say let's discuss. But I think we're there. We've hashed that one out. 14.2, Advisory Planning Commission. Bylaw number 694, 2013. First, second, and third readings. This is on page 35 of the agenda. And I will get Deputy Corporate Officer Braden Hutchins to speak to this.
Okay, I guess the best way to go through this is actually I'll probably just go through the addition to the agenda, a bit more background information that I handed out to both council and the audience, which kind of builds on the briefing note that council already received in the agenda. So really quickly, an advisory planning commission, it's an independent body of local residents that meet to discuss land use and planning decisions within a community. It's a resource for elected officials, and most communities in BC actually have an advisory planning commission, and these communities have really found it to be a wonderful tool to support council decisions and inform council on best practices. So Anne and I put our heads together and we drafted bylaw number 694-2013 primarily through benchmarking with other communities. Parksville, Smithers, Revelstoke, Coldstream, Ladysmith, and others, and we pulled what worked from them for the Valemount experience and what we thought would be best here. And so just to quickly highlight 4 broad benefits that we see an advisory planning commission, a group of citizens that would guide council decisions. The first is simply that an APC, what's up?
Oh no, I'm listening.
Okay, so the first is that an APC involves more citizens in the planning process. And so this is really important so that as developers come forward or applications or permits come forward, citizens can weigh in before it goes to council, and therefore you can get buy-in from the community. The second one, and I mean no disrespect here, but council can't be expected to have the past experience or the time to dig into the weeds of every planning decision, especially with the way things have been going as of late. Planning can get quite heavy, and the time that council has to dedicate is just not there. So going to an extra resource is really beneficial to council to back up their decisions. The third, and actually the reason that this came about, is that there's a number of emerging planning issues that we need to deal with, and we actually don't have the right answer or the best solution yet for some of them. So we actually received, and this, I think this is well known in the public, we received an application for a street vendor, actually a couple. And our bylaws are a little bit inadequate with respect to street vendors right now. They don't speak to, say for example, where they should park or what hours they should be in operation, parking requirements, et cetera, et cetera. And often for questions like that, there's not a best answer. There's just a multiple of good answers. And so an advisory planning commission would help tease out some of these nuances with applications. So yeah.
Can I jump in?
If you want.
I've been thinking about this a lot, and I think the way that we've approached a number of these really hairy planning issues to date has been to rely on staff solely. So we get, for the research in terms of what are the options, right? Bring us the options onto the table. So you go into your office and figure it out. In a bit of a way, if we have, he's listed here 5 really significant bylaw changes that could really affect the way that the town works. Let's be honest, council is going to choose from the options presented by staff. What we don't want to have here is sort of a tyranny of decisions made by staff. The benefit of this is to bring actual community input into these things. Another thing, as if it's not really obvious and bare on the face of it, I'll just call it out, is that the body is apolitical, and they provide direction to council, but they don't rule on anything. But it gives the council a group of people a kick at the cat, giving us 6 people to bat around an idea to see where is it at, without particularly being invested in it. And certainly, if there's any conflict of interest, they're not allowed to sit in the commission. It gives a chance for as we come up to these gnarly new issues, for people in Valemount to put a stamp on it.
I just have a question about staff's time dealing with another 6 people, because we're, as 5 right now, we take up your time, and now you're dealing with another 6. So what does that look like?
It's a great question. So we've written that, and jump in if you need to, into the bylaw. So staff would essentially provide the administrative function to the commission. So we build the agendas, and if we were in attendance, we would take the minutes. In terms of providing background research to the commission, that's work we'd have to do anyway, because we'd have to do that background research for council. But this would just mean we would do the background research, and before we send it to council, we would send it to the commission. You want to jump in?
I'm not wanting to interrupt, I just want to add a point.
Yeah, I'm done.
Your Worship, I think it's important to note that the APC would be for decisions like the examples provided here for big developments and really big planning challenges and uses. We would have to rely on expertise, and this would not be a sufficient level of public consultation for those. Public consultation would exist outside of the APC for the big decisions.
Right.
Well, I suppose that these people are also, they're not going to be called upon all the time just for big planning policy.
That's actually a great point. So they don't meet unless council, by resolution or bylaw, sends an issue and asks them to consider it. So staff might say, we're really at a loss on these 3 questions with respect to street vendors.
Right.
And we may make a recommendation to council that council defer this to the Advisory Planning Commission for further thought.
Would our new planning student sit on this?
Another great question. The legislation, the Local Government Act, stipulates that council and employees are not allowed to sit on it. As members, they can only attend in a resource capacity, so it has to be members of the public only.
Helping facilitate this thing too.
But I did read something too that said that a staff member will be taking the minutes.
That's right.
So
A staff member can definitely be there to provide advice, provide background information, and someone with a planning background, absolutely, to help to provide some insight and guidance
But
into
keep
why.
on the right track, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly. Speak to the material that's provided by staff.
In one respect, one of the unseen, sort of intangible benefits to this thing is it gives one of the things that I'll say right up is I feel we've been elected to Valemount at a very topsy-turvy time. I think we've been elected with a mandate. Those of us here gathered today were elected in, sort of a clean sweep of council, and I guess I think we all understand this, is that we're here to make tough decisions, and we're not shirking our responsibility. The point is that when everything is changing, how do we get the resources to think about things well? And not just kick it out to staff and have one staff member work up a solution that may be, no offense, the Ladysmith solution. Or it might be sort of Braden-centric or sort of Ann's kind of thing. Let's get the residents involved. And the intangible benefit I'm talking about is you've got 6 people in the community who are not, by definition, not elected, kicking around these ideas. We're building capacity, we're mentoring, people are understanding what the bylaws are, what they have to do. I mean, to me, that is like making the community a better place, because you've got more people with an inside track and a bigger group of people to draw on for, if as that time comes, right? If people want to serve on council, whatever it be.
Can we just read out then, I'd like to read out this bullet here that says typically APC appointees have qualifications, interests and/or background in environmental matters, land development, local business, law enforcement, or social planning and housing. Alternatively, APC appointees may represent a specific population demographic, such as youth or seniors in the community, or may be representative of the community at large. And something else I just wanted maybe you guys to mention was the process of selecting this APC.
It's a great question too. Because the commission is really a function and a support resource for council, the way we've designed it is that staff would put out an advertisement in the paper inviting citizens to fill out an application form. We'd collect those, and then we would invite citizens to be interviewed by council at an in-camera council meeting. And so I've already put together a list of 4 or 5 questions that I pulled from other communities, very basic ones like what is your knowledge of our OCP and why are you interested in sitting on the commission? And then council, looking at the law enforcement or member of the community at large in the various capacities, in their best judgment, will appoint 6 people from the applicants to fill that role. And then the way it works after that is every year 3 members of the 6 are up for their term is up. And so you always, every year, you can have 3 new members should that go that way. Alternatively, we've allowed for members to sit for 3 consecutive terms, so up to 6 years before they, if no one...
Do the 3 have to step down, or is it their choice?
They don't. So new members could come forward, but council could deem that past member is still to relevance, really. But the point is to always keep it moving a bit, so you're always building capacity and bringing new people in if needed.
Okay. So, council, further questions, or should we consider the matter?
I think it's a great idea. I think that we have some very knowledgeable community members within the village that can probably enable us to make the right decisions or assist us in making the right decisions and give us some options, like you say, as opposed to maybe just 1 or 2 options. I think we're going to broaden our horizons by looking into the community. So I'll make a motion to what am I doing here? Okay, I'll just flip the page. Yeah. To approve first, second, and third readings for the bylaw 694/2013 for the purpose of creating an advisory planning commission.
And I'll second it.
Excellent. All in favor? Okay. Moving right along, council reports.
No, there's one more bylaw.
Oh, one more bylaw, what's going on?
14.3.
Oh, I just wanted to skip this one. It's tax rate bylaw, 695. First, second, and third readings. Council, what is your wish?
I'll make a recommendation.
Yeah.
For Mayor and Council to approve first, second, and third readings of the tax rate bylaw 695, 2013.
Second that.
Excellent. And this follows out of the planning that we've been doing and the thinking we've been doing and the strategic planning. And this is where we're headed. Discussion about the tax rate bylaw? All in favor? All right. Okay, right on. Council reports. Yeah? Good.
I'll start now.
Yeah.
Over the last 2 weeks, I attended emergency management training along with a lot of the other council members. A Kinder Morgan update, which they're going to be doing a public forum and will be announced shortly so that they can update everybody on what's going on. Attended the ATV forum, which was put on by Varda and the Chamber of Commerce, which was the first of many steps forward. Yesterday, met with Northern Health, Michael McMillan, with Councillor Blanchette, and just talked about what the community may require and what they feel that they're maybe missing in helping us move forward in the health department. And had a meeting with Borealis regarding geothermal yesterday as well, and this morning met with the Mountain Resort government people and Alberto on the ski resort development with the other councillors here, and that too is going to be holding a public meeting very shortly.
Great.
Okay, April 11th, we had a Walk Around the World meeting, so it's happening May 4th, 10 o'clock at the Centennial Park is registration. So we're all set for that. Pedometers will be ready. Bring your walking shoes. Then the 15th to the 17th, I was in Smithers for the Partnering for Healthy Communities seminar, and it was really interesting because it wasn't just Northern Health individuals. It was also elected officials. What do our towns need? Where are they lacking? Where are they having improvements? It was also working on, we were sharing all of our ideas with the Healthy Communities initiatives that we're all doing, so we got some good ideas for other projects. The 18th, I had a clinic review going over the 811 program, how we're not having the nurse being called and how that's going, which is going really well. And I just wanted to put in a plug for the BC Ambulance Service, who are hiring now. So hopefully the media will put something in their papers that they're looking for community-minded individuals who enjoy working in a team environment. They're actively seeking out individuals who are able to give a few days a month, weekends, days, or nights. They need an unrestricted Class 4 license or better. Successful applicants will be sent for training and offered an EMR course and license to work as a paramedic locally. So if they're interested, they can contact Bella Jamin at 4703. So that's that. April 21st, I went to McBride to celebrate with the McBride Hospital. They've turned 50, and it was really great, really well attended. Lots of people from Valemount were there as well. April 22nd, was that yesterday? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had a meeting with Michael McMillan and Councillor Latimer, and like she said, it was really an interesting discussion. We threw out a few ideas, which I think were interesting. Then we had the geothermal, which was really good for me because I hadn't been following it along as much as everybody else due to other projects. So I really helped understand what geothermal is. And then I had a VCTV meeting, was our AGM, and that's it.
Wow. Is that all?
That's all.
Councillor Bullock.
On the 18th, I went to Prince George for the regional district meeting, The hot topic is always trash, how to best manage it. It doesn't sound like a recycling program is an option for this coming summer. But I also talked about our interest in upgrading our truck and our bins, and they said it would fall into place perfectly for recycling once that option is available. Yesterday, the geothermal meeting with everyone else. Again, the potential there is so huge, and I don't know if we can be a loud voice for them. For anyone with $5 million, I know where it can go. Today, also this morning, a meeting with Oberto to talk about where the ski hill development is, and again, another very exciting iron in the fire. There's so much going on in town, and that's all.
Can I ask, why are we not going to get recycling? Like, is there a reason, or is there something we can do, or?
It doesn't, the regional district actually doesn't get to make the decision for it. It trickles down from the provincial government, who's reviewing their paper PPE program, they call it. And so until that is finished, the regional district can't do much. And so that has nothing to do with us in the end, or we do not benefit from any of that either.
Like, the ideal time would have been before the PPE was announced. There would have been an opportunity if it was a holding pattern, and then the contracts that for the dump and the recycled materials come up for, you know, a council that was really concerned about this and ready to go, you know, and make a thing, or even pay money to get recycling happening, because, you know, it's not cost recovery. Prince George has a lot of recycling inside Prince George, and they don't make hardly any of the money back. It's not cost positive. It's just they lose less on the service, but it's a good thing to have. In Prince George, they can manage it without it being crazy, but in Valemount, it's been tough. The political will, I think, is there a lot. Well, I shouldn't judge previous councils, but I think I see a lot of political will, and I think we could do something with it. But with the province about to make this new thing law, where manufacturers suddenly become responsible for their waste. So when you buy the product, it's like your pop can. The recycling component is a part of that. It really changes the system, and it's hard. It would be just really silly of us to break open all of our contracts for hauling waste and moving stuff around and come up with something new when in under a year it'll change. So we kind of have to sit and wait, or at least that's the message we're getting from the regional district. And I really feel pretty clear that that's the case here. It's a thorny one. Oh, are you done?
Yes, I'm done, thank you.
Thank you. It's been crazy. I remember at the last council meeting, I didn't report on a really important item.
Too late.
God. Because Bob Beeson only turns 98, you know,
Okay.
once.
Okay.
That was on April 6th, and it was a great party. He's a very funny man. That's why he's still around, because he's so funny. And he's a great guy, and it was nice to see all his family there, and a great celebration. Like 3 or 4 years running. It's awesome. My dad turned 70. I shouldn't do that. Sorry, guys. Happy birthday, Dad. Oh, this is terrible. I went to the AKBLG, folks, back on a more serious track, and actually gave a presentation to a bunch of municipalities with a group called the Regional Collaboration Committee, which is a bunch of municipalities and representatives from the Columbia Basin combined with the other areas. And we were just looking at ways of sharing services and whether that's done enough. Because we see strategically there's great opportunities for communities like we are doing with McBride, sharing a planning service with the new hire, Katie Fabris. This idea of sharing things, of making it cost effective for both communities and finding ways to work together. We had a bit of a brainstorm session, and honestly, you go to these things and everybody in local government is quite aged. Seriously. So it's a room full of gray hair, and we get going down and we're like, we're going to talk about regional services. is it going to be exciting or whatever? I sit down at the first table, and the lady there is the mayor from Fernie, and she says, yeah, we share quite a bit of services. One of the services we share is a conservation officer with 4 other communities. They have a CO in the backcountry, also with the Columbia Basin Trust. How amazing is that? So all sorts of really exciting things. People are doing really good work and sharing a lot of really ton of great services. Anyways, I was away at the AKBLG for a little bit. My work on the Columbia River Treaty Local Government Committee is moving along. We're taking a long, hard look at how we're going to advise the province on the renegotiation of the Columbia River Treaty and what's at stake for local governments. We sort of got that dialed in, and we're about to present something. And I hope to bring that back to our working group within the next couple weeks here and sort of get their say-so and blessing on the direction that they've come. It's a pretty obvious tact. I'm so excited that McBride had a happy 50th anniversary celebration. I got the time wrong. I showed up there at the end, and there was a ton of people. There must have been 150 people there. So that's great for our partners in McBride there to celebrate their hospital. It's so great that we've got it, and we benefit from that daily. Great ongoing news, of course, that everybody's mentioned with meeting with Alberto Alberti and seeing how things take shape and finally getting that information to us how the next steps happen. And we can see we're lining up a lot of work for staff here. And we're going to need to really think strategically about how we get that done. Really, how we get that funded, because there's a lot of things for this municipality to consider, and we need to find a way to bankroll that. Even though it's a future thing, you can't plan after. It was also great to meet with Borealis Geothermal Power. Great people. So nice that they came down. They managed to do a little bit of geology on the ground stuff while they were here. And great to meet with them and talk about how it's possible for us to bring that forward. Yeah, and it's been really fun. And that concludes my report.
No, you and I both forgot we attended the roundtable discussion for the ATVs.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Which was excellent.
Which was
and
very good, yeah.
Kudos to
Yeah.
Christine, Councillor Latimer, and to
Varda.
Varda. Another piece that happened is our work on, the Village of Valemount has been doing some scientific research to figure out if water does flow downhill. And we're getting closer to some conclusions. We're gonna need some more funding to figure it out. No, we had John Wheeler in town who came and was taking a look at the top part of our watershed to see if in fact we are able to stop paying electricity to get our water to our reservoir. Thank you. Thank you. And I don't know, some crazy scientists say that if we take it from up on the hill and it flows down. Anyways, it's great. Anyways, we're so lucky to have somebody like John Wheeler available to help us. And then, of course, all the local resources, fantastic resources we have. I'm going to wind it up there. Is there anything else I should add? Because I probably got a story about it.
Undoubtedly.
All right, then moving along. Motion to receive council reports.
Motion to receive.
All in favor? Great. No new business. We'll receive the list of outstanding previous council resolutions as well as a calendar of events in one go. All in favor? Fantastic. And that opens it up to public comment. And you know the rules. Did you get a close-up? There's lots of good face stuff going on here. Okay.
Peter Felmark, 1200 Main Street. I also went to that I'm lost, I took a meeting with ATV, and I understood at the meeting was there will be minutes would be taken, and then we could get that somewhere on the internet. I haven't seen anything yet. Do you have it? I can pick it up somewhere.
They'll be presented to Varda tomorrow for Varda's AGM, or for our Varda's board meeting. And then after that, they will be available on the chamber website. And I believe they'll also be coming to council for the next council meeting.
Okay.
So they'll be on the in the council.
Whether we
agenda.
get the whole minutes or we get some of the resolutions arising or
You'll get
some
the
direction.
entire minutes will come to council.
Great. Great. Excellent. Further public comment? Okay, and that wraps it up.
Peter Fox at 195 3rd Avenue. Through the chair, I'd like to ask if the Chief Administrative Officer or Dallas could possibly comment on the stage at which the I guess search for a new collector for our garbage here is at right now.
Sorry, by collector, do you mean vehicle?
Vehicle, yes. Not the human collector, but yeah.
We've successfully commissioned a vehicle. We've issued a purchase order, and the order is now in at the factory where they install a packer onto the truck. We have an estimated time of arrival of approximately 3 months, but don't hold me to that because we're very dependent on that factory to mount that packer onto the truck and get all the pieces in place. So
that sounds quite exciting, vis-a-vis recycling, depending on what's coming down the line. And so I wondered if, I wondered how many compartments or how many components might be on the truck ordered, and if even our brown bins as part of the downtown improvement will be able to be emptied by the machine.
the downtown bins, no, those ones will be hand bombed in.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Fox. Further public comment? Oh,
Paul Johnson, 1123 9th Avenue. Again, regarding the garbage truck, I assume this garbage truck is going to need a special can for everybody. It's not going to be able to lift up a regular garbage can. They're all going to have to need a new garbage can.
Correct.
Are these going to be up to the homeowners to buy these cans, or is the village going to subsidize them, buy them? So this whole system is going to work?
Do you want me to continue to speak to this?
yeah, for sure.
What we're going to do is we're going to ask each homeowner to pay for them, but we will give some, we will stagger those payments out over a year to make it easier for some people. The cost will be approximately $100. We don't know the exact cost yet of the cans, but we will stagger that cost because for some people that might be difficult
Yeah, so it's quite expensive.
in one shot.
Okay.
Okay. Public comment round 2, Mr. Fox.
Yes, please. I think I'm still under my 3 minutes.
2 minutes.
I wonder, 2 minutes. I wonder if council might be able to look into the possibility of refunds on those containers themselves to homeowners, but also possibly any subsidies that might be available. The standard round cans cost maybe $10 a piece on sale, so that is quite an increase in the investment. Thank you.
Okay. Great. You're never supposed to do this. Oh.
No, if you're going to go first, go.
No, you go. No, is it on this issue? Has anybody been walking around this spring and taking a look at the state of our byways and our back alleys and stuff like that? It's a bit of a disaster. That's another consideration here too. We've got some serious waste management stuff going on. We can blame Ravens for some of it, but we've got. So, anyways, there are other benefits, but alas, Ms. Beeson.
Janelle Beeson, 1100 Cypress Road. I just wanted to say thank you to the mayor for attending Bob's birthday. It was very nice of him. congrats on your last birthday. And regarding the advisory planning commission, really good idea, right? I'm assuming. And I really hope that.
That is totally unfair. I'm going to object to that point. Why would it? There's like 6 people up here.
I'm kidding. Really good idea, everybody.
Thank you.
Super good idea. No, that sounds great, and I hope that works out really well. I hope that as that progresses, the issues that are on the table now are also looked at in a timely manner as summer's approaching, and lots of those things seem like they're kind of timely, that they're not going to wait for the advisory commission.
Which one in particular?
Oh, probably the vendor business in particular.
Absolutely.
It's going to be affected by summer and having that done right away. I just hope that. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, it's and you know, like we have these huge public policy things that are really important. If you ever think that they might not be, talk to a restaurant about them and see. You know, they're hairy. The one thing that I think council's going to allow itself to do is take the space to do it right, and that's unfortunate, but that's kind of the way you got to do. We can't be as nimble as private industry all the time, because it applies to everybody. It has big consequences. But we do try and get things quickly, and that's part of this, is to come up with good solutions that work for people. With that, sounded like you were going to say something.
No, I'm good.
Can I make a comment about the all candidates forum on Thursday?
Oh, yeah.
So just for the general public's information, but this is in the paper as well, the all candidates forum for the upcoming election will be held on Thursday night from 6:30 until 9 at the high school theatre, and the Liberal and the NDP and the Conservative candidate will be there meeting people. When you arrive at 6:30, the forum will start at 7 to go till about 8:25, and then between 8:25 and 9 o'clock you'll have the chance to also talk to them and offer opinions or ask them private questions prior to them leaving.
Will that also be in the paper?
The
Announcement, right?
it's supposed to be in both newspapers as well, but it's this Thursday.
This Thursday.
Yes.
Okay. Excellent.
Thank you.
So if you're here, you should definitely be there. But that's a big one. Great. With that, let's receive the public comments. All in favor? I'm totally torturing Denelda tonight because we're not calling out who did what, and she's going to get in big trouble with her bosses. Okay. All right. Is this
Nil.
nil?
First time.
No on camera.
Yay! Tonight we can announce we're not going to proceed in camera. So if you want to, whatever, meet us out by the bike park. We'll stay out there. Okay. Motion to adjourn. All in favor? Adjourn. Thank you everybody for coming out.